Welcome to Kung Fu Habit number 2. Okay, so this is going to be a two-part video. Brace yourself, people. This is on racism. Why am I making this video? Alright, I'm about to show you. Because I'm clearly not the only one. Alright, so you see these bubbles on your screen? That's from Facebook. And my phone's also about to die, so let me power up my brick. On a phone that Walmart and Trade Square refuse to fix. So I'm going to have to contact Straight Talk and contact Samsung to see what we're going to do about this phone that does not hold charge very, very long. So I show you these bubbles. Alright? So if you are just tuning in, I've made 6 videos about how politics ruin friendships. You should probably go check that out if you're here from Instagram or Facebook, so that you'll get to understanding why I made those 6 videos and how I got on a tangent about our president being a racist. Alright, so let's play, shall we? So most of these things that I'm involved in have a thing against Indians. Specifically Indians from India or Pakistan. So every time this comes up in one of these events, definitely don't want to show y'all that. In one of these events, one or another, someone kicks a person of Indian descent out of the group. And they let them know that we don't like Indians. And since I'm in some of these groups, and I am part Native American, I have to jump down their throat and I ask them specifically, what kind of Indian are y'all talking about? Because I'm part Indian too. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, that's right. I was like, because I'm multicultural. So I need to know what Indian group are you talking about? Feathers and horses and bows and arrows is the kind of which I hail from. Or y'all talking about flying carpets and dots and scimitars and shit. And they're like, what? I say, yeah, well, you said Indians have to go. So I need to know which kind of Indians are you getting rid of. This is me and my recurve, just so that y'all know. I had to go back to my Native American roots for the simple fact that I couldn't do Kung Fu for the last 3 years and some change. So, yeah, there's no arrow in there. But it kind of offended me to no end that they didn't like Indians in the group. And so I had to make a statement. And I had to make a statement really, really quickly about that shit. Because I didn't think it was cool for them to be fucking racist. Now, let me break that down for y'all in case y'all didn't get that. So every one of these Facebook bubble groups that pop up on my screen, they're always talking about racism, and they're always telling people of certain ethnicity groups that you can't be in our group. And so they always bring up Indians. And my ass is quick to spring out of being a victim of racism all my life. I'm quick to spring out of, what kind of Indians are you talking about? Because that would be a statue of Sacagawea, who's kneeling, which I consider to be completely racist. And they should remake that statue and make her standing up and leading the pack the way she should be. I'm trying to honestly find the picture of Native Americans on my phone. Which, there we go. Okay, this is basically Native American depictions, but most females never wore headdresses. So, I'm going to get you this. This is the Native Americans that I'm from. But women didn't wear hairdressers. No. Very beautiful models. Very beautiful models for Native American who are biologically Asian. Okay. I like chokers too, just for the record. The only reason I didn't wear them because I didn't know if straight men can wear chokers. And I'm at the point now where I'm just going to start not giving a fuck and start wearing a choker after I go buy one that looks like that. So, in these bubbles, those bubbles, there are lots of people. So, for the video saga that I made before that, we were all talking about Trump. I didn't want to leave the group. I have left groups over Trump. I honestly, truly, God, left these fantastic groups over Trump. Because most of the people there are Trump 2020, Trump 2020, Trump 2020, Trump 2020. And I'm like, you guys have no idea about how racist I view this guy. And you have no idea at how racist he actually is. And you have no idea because either you're black and blind, Asian and behind the 8 ball, or you're white and it doesn't affect you directly. So you're like, okay, well, I'm white, he's white, let's go. And same thing could be said for those who support Biden. I'm white, he's white, let's go. But see, lovingly as I say this, if racism doesn't affect you on some level directly, it will only affect you on a level indirectly that probably is minute to you. Don't brush your shoulders off, keep it moving. I'm making this video because of that. We seem to forget that people have feelings. I have some Indian friends. A guy that worked at Best Buy, one of the best Pakistani Indian guy I've ever met in my life. Very nice. Very cultural respectful. Very, very, very nice. Always greets me with a smile. Always asks how I'm doing. Asks how my movie career is going. Asks us very nice stuff. Doesn't care that I'm mixed. He treats me like I'm a human being. And I've met plenty of people on the web. Same way. Just Pakistani. Now the thing is, a lot of other Pakistanians have made it bad for these innocent and good Pakistanians the same way black people have made it bad for black people, Asians have made it bad for Asians, and whites have made it bad for whites. But all the groups all seem to be exactly the same. When people don't post their pictures because they're from Pakistan or India, they are kicked out of the group. And then there's a lot of people who, as soon as they start a group, they bust out rules. No, you can't be in because you're from India or you're from Pakistan, which is racist. You see where I'm going? I don't want to be in the group either if we're going to be racist. Because then it makes me look like I support this racist bullshit, which I don't. I don't honestly think that anybody on earth should be a racist, but the problem is half the people on earth are fucking racist. I'm sorry for swearing. And race is an issue that I've had to deal with the majority of my life. And I mean that wholeheartedly. The majority of my life, I've been the victim of racism and bullying. From kindergarten to college, racism and bullying, and it's something that I'm highly against. I call out racists on my channel all the time. I give you my point of view because I'm part Cherokee, part black, and part white. No one has a better perspective than me because I can walk in all three of these worlds and understand how sometimes white people feel bad about black people, How sometimes black people feel bad about white people. How sometimes Asian people feel bad about both blacks and whites. And how we all have that one singular moment that made us hate someone from a different race. Or that entire race because someone from a different race besmirched us. Or did something exceptionally wrong. And made us want to hate people of that race. Here's where I fit in. I've been done wrong by all three of the races that I come from. Blacks, Native Americans, and whites. So, what do we do to fix it? We stand there and do nothing, or we sit down and talk about it, but what do we personally do to fix it, like in these Facebook groups? No, we boot those people out. We boot out the people that even done nothing, can't help what color they are, or where they come from, because other people from their country have screwed them over. Or somebody from India asked a girl for boobs, or the nether region's pics. Well, one, you don't have to give them anything, and you probably shouldn't. Then there were some people from Pakistan that were stealing pics. I didn't know that that was a thing. I know it now, but I didn't know that that was a thing where you could literally, somebody from 10,000 miles away can get into your phone and steal your pics. Or if your phone is only, if your Facebook is only on your phone, which makes it easier for them to get in to your gallery on your Facebook page, because sometimes they're like permanently connected, and if it's not set to whatever, they can pretty much hop in there. Up until last year, I didn't even know cell phones could be hacked until my shit got hacked, because I started using my phone only for Facebook, and then my Facebook was hacked. I didn't even know you could hack my cell phone through Facebook, but apparently it's a thing. Smart people, man. Dummies like me are just like behind the 8 ball when it comes to stuff like that, and I'll be the first to admit, I am no genius when it comes to tech at all. Like, you want me to make a movie? We can do that. You want to put the movie together with the computer? We can do that. But if you want me to tell you how the computer works for anything other than making a movie, yeah, we're gonna turn that into 2 snaps in a circle, and maybe that Z formation. Yeah, I can't tell you shit. Because like I said, I didn't even know the cell phones could be hacked. I know that shit now. So, I'm very careful what I pick and what I post. But the thing is, when you're in these groups and people start saying racist shit. Yesterday, I left a group because they were talking politics. I didn't leave the group, but I left the group for the day. I just didn't go back to it. And they were talking about Trump, which is what led to making me make those videos that I made. Politics Ruin Friendships. It's 6 parts. Technically it's 7 because part 5 has 2 parts. But it's 6 parts. And I said in the video, had they not been talking about Trump, I was good. But they were talking about Trump, and these people were from the Philippines, and the Filipinos were voting for Trump if they could vote for Trump. If they were like Americans, but they were from the Philippines but got citizenship, they were voting for Trump. It infuriated me to the point where I had to leave the group. And I told them, I'll come back when y'all stop talking politics. Because someone had asked me, personally, and I don't like telling lies, so I gave the only answer that I could, and it was an honest answer, which was, I would like to keep the friends that I have in this group, so I prefer not to answer that question. I'll come back when y'all stop talking politics. By the time I came back, they were still on politics, so I just kept popping in, but I didn't say anything. I popped in, I'd read some of the shit, and things I would read about some kid from the Philippines. He said, I wish y'all would stop doing something, and then somebody who's a Trump supporter said, well, Trump has sent hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Philippines for such and such or whatever. I am unaware of that, and I don't give a damn, but Trump does. But they just kept going on and on about what Trump's doing for the Philippines and all the other things that Trump was doing. But they neglected the fact that the Philippines are Asian. Alright? And I got to thinking really bad. and I wanted to type stuff, and then I thought, nope, it's best that when you don't have nothing nice to say, to just not say anything, because it is good to be honest, but honesty is not kind. And so if you don't have anything nice to say, but you want to be honest to people, then you should probably say nothing or do it the way I did it yesterday. I want to keep the friends that I have here, so um, I would prefer not to talk politics because politics is not kind. And the second that you start talking politics, friendship goes out the window because you don't ever want to view it from your friend's point of view. I'm pretty sure a lot of my friends are Trump supporters. I got a friend who is a Trump supporter, and I let him speak his piece. We talked live in a live chat once, and he was talking about Trump. He asked me if I was ready for war. And his name's Peter. I'm not giving last names, but his name is Peter. He's a cool white dude, cool as hell, and I still respect our friendship, but I question his moral compass. And what he fails to understand is that, and he knows people who are of color or whatever, and he doesn't understand my point of view of that. But who am I? I'm not anybody that's any different from him. And as Trump is working for him, then it's working for him. And when something is working for us, most of the time we don't hit the power button to cut the bitch back off. All right? But when you don't want to look from the other person's point of view, then that's where my issues lie. Like I said, it's working for Peter. And Peter's going to vote for Trump. But I'm not going to hate Peter for voting for Trump. I am going to question Peter's moral compass, but he's messing with a Filipino woman, so he's clearly not racist. But, just because you're dating someone of a different race doesn't mean you're not racist. It just means you could just be addicted to the WAP. WAP, wet ass pussy. You could be addicted to that, even if you're not even really getting it from millions of miles away. Long story. Video sex is a thing, people. Come on. Anyway, the whole point of the matter is that, I got mad respect for the dude. Because before I knew he was a Trump fan, I was still talking to him. Now, whether he has respect for me as a Democrat and a Elizabeth Warren person who had to vote for Biden because that was like my only choice, because I damn sure wasn't going to vote for Trump. After you go watch my other videos, you'll understand why. I did a video on Native American shit with Trump. I did a video on the Central Park 5 shit with Trump. And I did a video on the Chinese virus, or the Kung Flu. So, that being said, I am not, never ever going to support Trump. Now, in my last video, I will admit that he did something good for Native Americans, and I supported that shit. Did that cover everything? Yes, it made me a hypocrite. It made me 1,000% a hypocrite because I don't trust Trump. I don't like Trump, but I had to give him his credit for forming a Native American task force to solve and hunt down missing and murdered Native American and Alaskan natives who are still Native American, but apparently people are just biologically stupid. So, I gave the credit to the man where it's due. But as far as I'm personally concerned, I do not like Trump. I could care two shits about him. So glad I'm not serving in his army. Because, he also considered military people suckers and losers. So, yeah, I kind of don't want to fall for that. If I'm going to serve Old Glory, I want the President of the United States to have some respect for soldiers. That's not here or there. So they got to talking about politics in the group, and they were picking on the Philippines, and there were other Filipinos who were talking about, can I vote for Trump 2020, blah, 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 and I'm sitting there like, you have no idea how much you can't stand Asian people, and you want to vote for this asshole. Which also goes back to something I was watching in TikTok. And I do not apologize for this, but I'm going to admit to it. When I found out this person was a Trump follower, I unfollowed her. Like, immediately. I mean, she was making some salient points. I just found her. She was new to me. I don't know how long she's been on TikTok. But I unfollowed her immediately. Because she was getting into her freedoms, the right of free speech, and all kinds of other stuff. And I might be a dick for this. But the second she said Trump 2020, I was done. Because I sit there and I said, okay, one, you might not understand this because you're from the Philippines. But a lot of racist Americans can't tell the difference between Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Vietnamese, Philippines, Polynesians, Samoans. Need I go on? You know, he could very well look at you and think you're Chinese. Somebody else who could be racist, who could very well look at you, who is a Trump supporter, could be like, you know what? She may have the Chinese virus. I'm going to go fuck her up. If that does happen, I'm sorry, but how would you feel if that happens? You know, because of Trump 2020 and the Chinese virus has caused a lot of Asians to fall under attack by people who support Trump by physical attack. Now, I don't know if the black guys that attacked the black dude, I don't know if the black dude with the stick attacking the Asian man in San Francisco was a Trump supporter. He might have just been a racist black bastard. But when you're going to be racist, you're going to be racist. And if I get video of it, I'm going to call your ass out on it. So she's sitting up with all of these rights that she has because she's an American citizen. All of the glory and all of the guts. And the next damn thing that came out of her mouth was the last thing before I unfollowed her was Trump 2020. And I was like, you stupid cow. I honestly wanted to call her a female dog, but I don't use that word for women. I try not to insult women on any level possible because I love women. And women are entitled to their thoughts, their opinions, and their bodies. And I looked at myself and said, unfollow her. Because clearly she's not an American. She's an American citizen, granted. But she's not under the American policy of, he just hasn't reached your Asian yet. Now to my white friends who follow Trump. Hey, if you're going to follow Trump, I don't have a problem with that. If you're going to vote for Trump, I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem is with your moral compass. Are you following Trump because it fixes your wallet? Or are you following Trump because you're a secret racist or you're an outed racist? There's not too much more reasons I can tell you why people would follow Trump. No. And I can't just say, well, it's because they're white. It's like, no. Because Biden's white. You see where I'm going? That would be like totally racist and totally wrong. But that's what led me to making those other 6 videos. Because of some shit on these Facebook bubbles. You know? And I sit there and I said to myself, I said, you know, I have to question their morals because Trump doesn't like Native Americans who are Asian. Chinese flu, or Kung flu, Chinese virus. He's put a lot of Asians in danger from racist white people who don't like Asians. He put a lot of Asians in danger from racist black people who don't like Asians. And yet this young Asian woman goes Trump 2020. I have a fuck ton of Asian friends. I don't want to see any of them hurt because of some shit that came out of our president's mouth. And by Asian, I mean all Asians, including my Indian friends and a Pakistani friend that I mentioned, which is another reason why this video is important. You know, when does racist rhetoric go too far? When it finally gets to somebody you know, or somebody who decides, oh, you're Asian, I don't know if you're Chinese, and I don't give a shit, because I'm going to take this umbrella with this stick, and I'm going to Nancy Kerrigan the fuck out of your shit, because the president said that the Chinese virus is very contagious. The Wuhan Chung flu. It's okay for me to talk like this. So, I'm walking down the street. I'm a big ass racist. I see an Asian. Choked on a drink. I didn't see that part because that was before I got around the corner. That's the Asian coughing, choking on a bottle of water. You know, I got this big stick in my hand. I walk around the corner and see this Asian choking. I'm assuming that they're spreading the Kung flu or the Chinese virus. As my God-given right as an American, I'm going to take this stick and Nancy Kerrigan the dog shit out of this choking Asian that I didn't see choke on the bottle. I just came up beside it. Trump 2020. And see, here's that thing that people don't seem to understand. Political power and influence tends to think how people react in the streets. And we seem to forget that for her in her Trump 2020 on TikTok. She must not have known about the young Asian girl that had to fight the black guy in the subway because he thought that she had the Kung flu. And he was black, and a Trump supporter probably. So he threw his slushy at her. She, in turn, threw hers at him, followed by a flying dragon kick. It's all on video. It's fucked up, but it was on video. And he didn't have to get off the subway train to do that shit. He could have just let her go. But no. He got off the train and decided to do something fucking stupid because of our president's rhetoric on the Chinese virus. Let me take you to the young man who sprayed Lysol on an elderly Chinese woman because he wanted to not catch the Chinese virus with Kung Flu. So when I'm reading these racist comments and how they're praising Trump for all that he's doing, and how on TikTok this young woman who got her American citizenship and wants to vote for Trump, yet she doesn't know the damage that he's caused in the Asian community. Yeah, it's not her Asian community because she's from the Philippines. She's not Chinese, so she's gonna just turn a blind eye like every fucking body else has done and keep it moving. Well, I'm not Chinese either. I'm part Native American, and Native Americans are Asian biologically. So what affects Standing Rock affects Cherokee. Just because y'all don't know about that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. We just had a victory for the Mahakan. We just had a victory over a pipe water plant down here in Scottsville. So that's just a few miles down the road from where I am now. And that's a victory for Native American tribe who gets to keep their land. Something that was supposed to be promised to us way back up in 1924 when we actually got rights for a country that was always ours to begin with. And that's me speaking from my Native American side. But anyway, so these racist people on Facebook that don't want Pakistanis or Indians in there, they're always talking about Indians and Pakistanis on the group. And sadly, I'm in some of these groups and I'm like, yo, what kind of Indian are you talking about? Because I'm part Native American. No, we don't mean your kind. We mean the Pakistanians and the Indians. I was like, hold on. Not all of them are perverts. I'm a pervert. But I don't ask for pictures because y'all drop enough of them. But the Indian guy that they were getting rid of also did not ask for pictures. He just was looking for friendship and commodity. But racist ass people on Facebook on these Facebook bubbles and these groups that we're in, nope, we're removing him from the group. And I'm like, yeah, well, if you're going to remove him, you also remove me too. But yeah, but you're cool. I was like, so was he. What's the difference? Yeah, we're all human here. Why do y'all hate these guys so much? So then they would go into detail. One Indian guy stole my pics. One Indian guy sent me dick pics. One Indian guy stole my pics of my boobs and started posting them on other shots. And I'm like, okay, well, did you, drop your pic in the group? And did you steal it from there or whatever? Yeah, I did that, but the rules of the group are posted on the group that you're not supposed to steal, you're not supposed to do anything, etc., etc. And I get it, I understand that, but you also have to understand that no one's putting a gun to your head to make us drop these pics. So, that being said, dry snot, y'all. So, if you're, if you're not, aware, sorry, gotta make sure my nose is clean. It's clean. Better safe than sorry. I'm very nose conscious. I had a really bad experience with a very beautiful girl, which I never saw again after that hangman. Anyway, so the whole thing is, with the racist issue, the whole thing is that people tend to use that one experience to blame others for things that really isn't the cool Pakistanians' fault. So you sit there and you think about it, like, well, wow, but no one really raises the pros. And the more I defended them, they wouldn't kick me out of the group, but they'd kick the Pakistani guy out. Boom, and like, yo, why y'all don't just remove me too? And they're like, but you're cool. You don't do that stuff. I was like, yeah, he didn't do it either. But y'all just all out decided, hey, we don't like him because he's Pakistani. We don't like him because he's Indian. He's a Latin. They do the flying carpet and the turbans and the dots and the scimitars, where you ride on horses and shoot bow and arrows. I was like, well, I might shoot bow and arrows, but you'll never get me on a horse. I'm dreadfully afraid of horses. And they all get a laugh at that, and then they go, how are you afraid of horses? Half of your ancestors built your country on horses. I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure they did, but not me. I said, I got bit by a horse as a child, and I've been dreadfully afraid of horses ever since. So I don't fuck with horses. Period. If I have a Native American role that's given to me, I only have one rule. I'm not getting on a horse unless the money's right. But also, we're not cutting my hair. But the whole point of the matter is that the whole difference maker is that you can't be in these groups and be racist towards one group of people. And in these Facebook groups, they are racist towards Pakistanians. Stay tuned for the second video, because this video is 30 minutes.